hit subscribe. Subscribe to my guy, Uncle D. Tell him Big Bass sent you.
I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas, an advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father, I have black sons. Hey man, I do what I do.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm here very early today. I'm here early today because we have a very special broadcast. Need to discuss. We need to discuss some behavior. Okay. Now, first of all, let me acknowledge all my beautiful people. Thank you, everybody in here. Somebody type peace in the chat room. Uncle D is a man of peace. I'm here for peace. Okay. Y'all know that. All right. I'm here for peace. I'm here as a peace bringer. Uncle, I'm a nonviolent man. Okay. I'm a dove of peace. Okay. And tranquility. That's what I'm about. I'm about that peace. You see what I'm saying? Uncle D is here to try to be a peacemaker. Hallelujah. Now, in case you all don't know, and I'm sure you do, Anton Daniels and a young brother who's famous for YouTube and had a lot of exposure because of his recent appearances on Fox News, had the opportunity to appear on the 5150 show with Corey Holcomb. And Corey Holcomb is a famous YouTube brother from I remember him from back in the day. You understand? And anyway, I guess whatever happened, things got heated, and they nearly, it seemed to me, some words were exchanged and some veiled threats were made, and they looked like they almost came to blows. You see what I'm saying? And so I want to go ahead and give my take on it. And the reason I'm doing this is because, here's the thing. I spent a lot of time defending black people, specifically black men. And, and I specifically focus on Black American men, or what we call FBA. And both of these gentlemen are what we would consider foundational Black Americans. And, at this particular point, it makes no sense for me to continue being an advocate when I have such high profile Black men who are, making us look bad. Now, again, these two gentlemen have the mantle, and I want to contrast, some of the things that these folks say. They're the leaders. They're basically the thought leaders of the Black community right now, whether you agree with them or not. The truth is, these are the thought leaders, and the reason is because this is who you all gravitate to. Now, I respect my position, but my position is nowhere near or my channel is nowhere near as big as theirs. But of course, I don't comport myself in that manner, and because I've learned a long time ago there are serious consequences associated with that. But the bottom line is, these brothers, I feel, have an obligation to represent us well. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go ahead and let this video play. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get a copyright strike, okay? But the first thing I'm going to do, go ahead and I'm going to put it up. That's Brother Anton Daniels right there. Can y'all see him? Let me know if you can see him clearly. Let me know. Let me know if you can see. All right, it's Brother Anton Daniels, and you see there's a little lady who is in the middle of the screen. I'm going to let my music play in the background because again, I don't want any issues associated with any copyright strikes, even though this is pretty much all over the internet right now. And of course, you know, it's only a select crowd of people who know Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb because they largely appeal to a black crowd. But these two men are definitely making ways into the mainstream. And as I said before, they're spokespersons for black people in general. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and let it play. We're gonna go ahead and let y'all ready. Let me know when you're ready. And we're gonna actually try to build from this. We're going to try to try to get something out of this. All right. Somebody type fair use in the chat room. Somebody, thank you so much, mods. Yes, let's go ahead and make sure we got the music playing in the background. We got everything going. Y'all hit the number 1 button. Let me know if you can hear it. You should be able to hear it. I'm gonna go ahead and let it play, and we're gonna go now. Fair use.
Suck the dick of black people right now.
Man.
You doing the easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do.
Nah,
see, ain't
homie,
nobody
let me tell you something, homie.
Ain't nobody gonna tell you.
I don't
ain't nobody
suck
gonna
dick.
tell you to, yeah,
I don't
you do.
suck
Yeah,
dick.
you do.
So fix
You doing
that.
it right now.
I don't suck
you
dick,
doing,
homie.
You doing it right now.
Homie, believe me when I tell you, I don't
Believe me
do
when
that.
I tell you.
I don't do that.
Listen.
So don't come at me with no dick sucking shit.
I'm gonna give you the same
Let's
energy you
switch
give me.
Let's
switch
switch.
Let's switch
Switch
seats.
seats.
I'm with it.
Homie, I don't do no dick sucking shit. I'm a motherfucking man. I don't do no dick sucking shit, homie.
I don't give a fuck about none
Well,
of
I tell you
right
what,
now.
watch that dick sucking shit, cause that'll go bad.
Call it what you want.
I don't do no dick sucking,
You say a
homie.
lot of shit that I don't fuck with either. You talk
Okay,
about
but
what you
that
talking about,
gay
nigga?
shit, oh, you
I
go.
don't give a fuck about what you talking
Hey, homie,
about.
I tell you what.
I'm right here.
Don't put
You
no
switching
dick
seats
sucking
don't mean
shit.
to me.
Don't put no
I'm from
dick sucking
Detroit,
shit on me, nigga.
I'm from Detroit.
Say
right
I
now.
suck a dick again.
I'm right here, right now.
All right, that's
Now,
what I'm saying.
I'm gonna respect you.
Dance around it. Dance around it.
No.
I don't do no dick sucking shit.
I'm gonna respect you because it's your platform, and I flew out here to have a conversation.
We good.
But
We
you're not
good.
bossing up on you do.
Y'all like that beat playing in the
I
background?
respect you because it's your platform.
Y'all like that beat playing in it? I know I'm not supposed to interrupt. Y'all like that beat playing in it? It's banging, huh? Let's go.
Platform, and I flew out here to have a conversation.
We good.
But
We
you're not
good.
bossing up on me.
Yo,
We good. I did already. I don't do
Nigga,
dick
we can put
sucking
the
shit.
microphone right down,
Yo.
right now, and go on back. I don't give a fuck about this shit.
Homie, you just running your mouth.
I'm not running my mouth.
got a
You
question
running your
for
mouth.
Anton.
I don't do
You
no
doing
dick
this shit for
sucking
the
shit.
internet. You doing it suck the
Oh man. All right. So that's it, man. Okay, so we just saw the confrontation that happened between Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb. And first of all, let me say this, man. Let me go ahead and say this. I like Anton Daniels. I like Corey Holcomb. Not necessarily because I agree with everything they say, but I like the fact that they are black men who are eloquent enough to speak and get their point across. And it proves and it dispels a lot of stereotypes about black men, that we don't have a voice, that we don't want to speak. I appreciate what they do. Now, again, I disagree with Anton Daniels on his position on HBCUs. I disagree with Corey Holcomb in some of his positions on women. But for the most part, they're speaking as black men, and they're speaking honestly from their perspective. So I respect both of them. I support both of them. However, this sort of behavior that I just saw, this confrontational behavior, this harassable behavior, is not something that I can get behind. Okay. And the thing is this, family, and I want you all to hear me very clearly. All right. I am I'm well versed in the art of fisticuffs and other means of defending myself, but by no means am I an advocate for just unnecessary violence. Now, on the flip side, I also believe that you should be partial as to your words, and you should be mindful of the words that you use. So again, what we saw involves Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb on the Corey Holcomb 5150 show. And regardless of how you feel about either man, this moment matters. And it's not because it's entertaining. It's not because it's messy, even though it is, but it's because it's what it represents. Okay. Both of these men occupy influential spaces. I think we all can agree on that, whether you like Anton Daniels or whether you're not. I know some of the ladies on my broadcast in my chat rooms have expressed a bit of displeasure with some of the things he said, and the same goes for Corey Holcomb. But both of these men occupy influential spaces in Black America, and they speak to a large audience. And whether they ask for it or not, they are seen by supporters and critics alike as voices of Black men in America, and I dare say voices of Black people in America. And being that both of them are foundational Black American men, from my understanding, and some of you are saying that Anton is not, but I'm not sure. It's my understanding that the brother is a foundational Black American man. He's married to a Black American woman, and he has a Black American daughter, and he's been a dedicated husband for several decades. So I respect that off top, okay? As far as Corey Holcomb, I don't know much about the brother. I appreciate his voice. But aside from that, you know, I'm gonna say this up front, you know, so nobody misunderstands me. I understand how the situation escalated. The language was used, it crosses cultural lines, okay? Language that questions another man's manhood, historically and socially, those are not just insults, they're fighting words. And Corey's response, standing up, walking across the room and confronting Anton face to face, that came from that reality. So I understand the reaction, but understanding a reaction does not mean endorsing the outcome. Because see, here's where we have to be honest with ourselves. This kind of exchange does not happen in a vacuum. You see, when Black men with platforms lose composure publicly, it feeds a narrative that has always been waiting for moments like this, a narrative that says we are incapable of disagreement without violence, incapable of restraint, and incapable of professionalism at high levels. And that narrative is not new, and it's not accidental. It gets reinforced when moments like this go viral, and there are real consequences here. Anton Daniels is increasingly appearing in mainstream political media spaces like Fox News, and those spaces are highly transactional. They don't tolerate volatility, and they don't protect people who embarrass the platform because optics matter. You see, the great Kevin Samuels, who was the first Black man that I knew who could do this, he said that. He said you win and lose on the optics. And Corey Holcomb, yes, he's a comedian, but comedy requires control. And once confrontation replaces humor, that brand takes a hit. And there were other ways this could have been handled that stayed within his lane and still made his point. And finally, after the clip ends, the comment section tells the truth. See, people who already dislike Anton use this as proof that he lacks backbone. People who already dislike Corey Holcomb use this as proof that he's reckless. And none of these brothers are gonna walk away elevated. And so as we watch, I want you to keep one thing in mind. When you reach a certain level, and shout out to Edward B. Cook, thank you for the super chat. When you reach a certain level, decorum is no longer optional. Words matter, restraint matters. And how you treat each other, especially public, matters more than ever. Again, we watched the clip. I'm gonna go ahead and watch the clip again, and we're gonna break it down line for line. And I don't know the full context of the conversation. I'm gonna go ahead and let the music play. We're gonna break this down line for line, so we could, and again, I think it's important. Let's take a listen to what happened.
Tell you, I suck the dick of Black people right now.
All right. Okay. So that appears to me that there was a conversation having to do with the social commentary of Corey Holcomb, and Anton uses very derogatory words, saying you perform fellatio on Black people's phallic symbol right now, which means that I guess what Anton is saying is you're being a sycophant to Black people. You're letting them get away with things they shouldn't get away with. In other words, you're giving Black folks a pass. You see what I'm saying? And here's the thing, brother. What are we supposed to do, brother Anton? Are we just supposed to jump on the wagon and disrespect black men and disrespect black women? Are we not? Are we just supposed to pile on our own people? How does that benefit us, brother? I want you to think about that. See, when you begin to disrespect your own people, understand that other people take the same disrespect that you or chastisement, if you call it, and whether and I'm assuming it's coming from a place of love. You chastise your own people who don't like you or who are looking for a reason to disrespect you would then take that and use it against you. You see? So what are we supposed to do in public? You understand? I mean, you refer to it as and there's other way. I know Antoine is extremely eloquent and a very well-spoken young brother. So it makes no sense that he would use that type of terminology unless he meant to incite a response from Corey Holcomb. Okay, so we'll let it proceed, but that's the context. This is where it started, and at this point, it takes a totally. It goes in a different direction. Shout out to Volo Television. Let's keep listening.
You doing the easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do.
Nah,
see, ain't nobody
let me tell you something, homie.
Ain't nobody gonna tell you.
I don't
Ain't nobody
suck.
gonna
All right, so what you see how Corey Holcomb kind of took a pause for a minute, and he looked away. I'm assuming there's some people in the background who said, "Hey, you gonna let him get away with that? Hell with the subject matter." And so he kind of, if you kind of look back at his response, initially there was no response. Look at this.
Nah, homie, let me tell you something, homie.
I want you to look at his.
Nah, homie, let me tell you something, homie.
Let me see if I can pull this back.
What you do, let me tell you what you do.
Nah, homie, let me tell you something, homie.
See, it was a kind of a pause in there. It was nothing to be said. He just kind of paused.
Easy shit.
Right there. That was the look. This is the look.
I suck the dick of.
Here's the look right here. You see that? You see that look he gave? He looked away and then looked back. Somebody in the background said, "Hey, you need to check that." See that look? You understand what I'm saying? Body language tells everything. That's what happened. Somebody said, "No, you can't let him get away with that." And so then he had to address it. And this is where it escalated. Let's keep listening. Fair use.
Easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do.
Nah,
see,
homie, let me tell you something, homie.
I don't tell you.
I don't suck dick.
Yeah,
I don't
you do.
suck
Yeah,
dick.
you do.
So,
And look, forgive the language. I know this is some strong language, but I'm just saying, I'm just doing a play-by-play. I've seen a lot worse stuff on YouTube before, but let's talk about it.
You doing it right now.
I don't suck dick, homie.
You doing it right now.
Homie, believe me when I tell you. I don't do that.
Tell you.
I don't.
All right, and here's the thing. Now you got Corey Holcomb on defense. Brother, you don't have to explain that. We understand it was an insult. And just to be fair, Anton Daniels was not accusing Corey Holcomb of being a person who, performs fellatio, but he was generally saying that, he basically is a sycophant to black people or the plight of black people, black Americans. That's what he was trying to say. And again, he could have said it in a far more eloquent way, but apparently this is the response that he wanted. And so now Corey feels the need to defend himself, and instead of backing down, Anton Daniels doubles down, because at this point, image is everything, and now their manhood and reputation are on the line. So let's continue listening.
Don't do that.
Listen.
So don't come at me with no dick sucking shit.
I'm gonna give you the same energy you give me.
Let's switch it.
I'm gonna give you the same energy you give me. Now, I don't know what happened before this clip, which led to this. I'm not sure, but at no place in time is it a good time to infer that another man has performed some sort of basically homosexual emasculate act. That's just an affront to the brother's manhood, and you got to expect that you're going to get a response. You see what I'm saying? So let's keep listening.
Let's switch seats. I'm with it, homie. I don't do no.
Now this is where it escalates. You see the little lady moved out the way. Let's watch this real quick. I want to show you. Look how this little lady. Look at the little lady right there. Now here she come. Little mama like, let me get on up out of here. Let me get out the way of this. Now Corey is still holding the microphone, so we're still entertainment. This is still entertainment. He's still holding the microphone. We'll see what happens.
No dick sucking shit. I don't do no dick sucking.
Now, I mean, he said that a bunch of times. We get that. But see, here's the problem for me. As a person who practices every day, martial arts and whatnot like that, if anybody wanted to jump, that's when the fight would start. The minute you run up on me like that, I feel like my life is being threatened by it. And then that's when, so it lets me know that neither one of these gentlemen actually wanted a real conflict. Because anybody who has any experience, whether it's fighting in the ring, fighting in the octagon, this is probably a very dangerous position for anyone to be in. You see what I'm saying? So, if these two gentlemen really wanted to engage in some sort of, physical confrontation, it would have happened long before this. It would have happened probably right about here. When you get within, that's when the single leg takedown or double leg takedown would have happened. Side control, knee on belly, full mount, ground and pound. That's where it would happen right there. Because, so it just lets me know that, although it looks bad to me, I think both of these gentlemen were just talking. But see, the problem is not just what didn't happen, it's what did happen and how it looks and how it makes us all look. Let's continue listening to this hot mess.
I don't do no dick sucking shit.
Yeah. See, now here we go.
I'm a motherfucking.
I don't know what Anton is looking for. I don't know if he's looking for. I don't know what he's looking for. I don't want to infer what he's looking for. I don't know where he is, but I'm assuming he's looking down. Maybe there's a bag on the ground. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not going to infer anything, but oftentimes I'm just going to say a lot of times people talk a lot of stuff when they had that iron with them, when they got that tool with them, when they have a means of self-defense. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay. But if I'm looking at this as a prosecutor, or if I'm looking at this as a judge or a jury, I'm going to say, well, at this point, what are we doing? You see, because you could have got up and left if you felt threatened. There's no need to go down and reach for a bag or anything like that. Especially if you're reaching for a weapon. You could have got up and left at that particular point and avoided this situation. But see, this is how things escalate. This is why you don't say inflammatory words to people. And this is why you don't get in people's faces. See, both of these gentlemen have not practiced de-escalation. All right. And this is how it's going bad. Shout out to Hot Smart. Let's keep listening. And again, both of these are foundational Black American men. I can't sit up here and constantly talk about the culture of people who come into our country and influence us and then not address what I see my own Black American brothers are doing. It makes no sense for me to sit up here and uplift Black men and say we winning and we doing great when I got two millionaires, literally two millionaires, two Black success stories here in the United States who are behaving like two common schoolboys on a schoolyard calling each other names. This is not the white man's fault right here. You see, these are two full-grown 40-plus-year-old Black men who are apparently having a conversation, and it took a wrong turn, not because someone else came in, because it's two Black men. This is the same thing that Black brother Anton Daniels talks about in the Black community. Right? This is the same thing that he disparages, right? And so, brother, you playing a part in it. Anton and Corey Holcomb play a part in this. So, again, this is, and you all keep telling me that Anton is not Black American, but he is one of ours from what I understand. Okay? He is one of ours, and so is Corey Holcomb. We can't run away from it. We need to deal with it. And this is unfortunate. This is an unfortunate occurrence. It's already gone viral. And let's keep listening.
Man, I don't do no dick sucking shit. And
so again, Corey is still on the, you're disrespecting my manhood. I get it. Let's keep looking.
Well, I tell you what, watch that dick sucking shit, because that'll go bad.
Call it what you want.
Yeah. Call it what you want. He calling it what it is, brother. You said that to that man, and you said it on his show, and he's offended, and it's getting heated.
Do no dick sucking,
you say a lot of shit that I don't fuck with either.
You say a lot of stuff that I don't mess with either, but see, that has nothing to do with you insulting the man. The man didn't infer or question your manhood. You see what I'm saying? That so you in violation, and that's why he got up, and this is escalating. You shouldn't have said what you said, and he shouldn't have approached you like that. But the bottom line is, here we are, two black men exchanging obscenities and being confrontational for each other for the world to see. Two foundational black American men, two very successful black men, two nationally known black men. You see, again, this is the problem this is why I'm dealing with this right now. All right.
But that gay shit, oh, you go. Hey, homie, I tell you.
He said, I don't give a, and so now, you know, Anton is trying to hold his own, saying, I don't give a whatever about you. And Corey Holcomb is still on the fact that you're in front, because I understand why Corey Holcomb, but you know, you all know the reputation of Hollywood. You know, we all know about the casting couch. We all know the rumors of what goes in Hollywood. And if Corey Holcomb as an entertainer is, you know, if there's some sort of rumor that he is, you know, a person with this alternative lifestyle, which is so easy to get, because for the most part, Black America thinks all those black actors and entertainers, except a few, are, you know, participate in that alternative lifestyle. And so now Corey Holcomb has built his reputation on being a straight up guy, heterosexual guy. He gives advice on women. You would undermine his whole shtick, his whole career, you know, if that rumor got out. And so that's why, you know, he has to address this in an affirmative way. And now he's asserting his manhood and basically trying to get you to back down or punk you, and you ain't going for it. I get what's going on. And on the flip side, Corey, you invited Anton. You know, Anton says inflammatory things. You invited him on your show, and you all are having a heated debate about something he feels very strongly about, his perspective, and this is what's going on.
I'm right here.
Put no dick sucking shit. Don't put no dick sucking shit on me, nigga.
I'm from Detroit.
Say I suck a dick again.
I'm right here, right now.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
Now you see that? I want you to hear that. He said, "Say it again." Well, the truth is, Brother Corey, he already said it the first time. Okay, all you did was get up and walk over. He didn't. Why you have to say it again? He said it once. You don't need to say it again. You already said it once. Okay, so you asking him to tell you again? He said it once already, sir. That mean I'm just saying, he's gonna do something. You did something already when he said you was out there, you know, performing fellatio. Okay, sir, respectfully.
Dance around it. Dance around it.
No.
I don't do no dick sucking shit.
Hold on, he said, now Anton did say, no, I'm not gonna say it again because I'm gonna respect you on your platform. I ain't gonna tell everybody. I'm not gonna say that again, sir. You disrespected the man a few minutes ago on his platform by saying that you are performing the fellatio on the black community. You see, that's what you said. And so you already disrespected him on his platform. Now that he got in your face and said, say it again, I mean, you kind of backed down a little bit, you know, it was probably smart. You know what I'm saying? A little, you know, I'm just saying, okay, let's keep listening.
Respect you because it's your platform, and I flew out here to have a conversation.
We good.
But you're not busting up on me.
Yo, we good.
He did run up on you, Anton. He ran right up on you, Anton. He ran right up, but we good. And look, dear white people, when black people say we good, that does not mean that everybody's happy. Somebody type, we good. We good? We good is, you can say that in many different ways. When I say we good, that means different from we good. Okay, I just want y'all to understand that they're both two words spelled the same, but we have a complicated way of communicating with each other. We good, we good, we good, we good. That means a whole different thing. Some of those mean, hey, everybody's happy. I appreciate my fried chicken order. And some of that means somebody's about to get rolled up. You see what I'm saying? So when Corey Holcomb said we good, that means, yeah, I checked you. Yeah, we good now. You was out of pocket and I made you back down. Somebody type we good in the chat room.
I did already. I don't do dick sucking shit.
Put the microphone right down, right now and going up back. I don't give a fuck about this shit.
Okay, and see, Anton basically interpreted that because both of these young men are clearly fluent in niggalese. Okay, now you all don't know a lot about me, but when I was in School of Hard Knocks, I majored in niggeration with a minor in niggalese. So I understand the complicated conversations that black people all across the hemisphere have. Okay. Now, again, I have my major in niggeration and my minor in niggerlease. Okay. So I understand what's being said. Now, what just happened? The reason Anton said we could take it outside because he realized when Corey Holcomb just said we good, that means he punked Anton, right? And now Anton has to escalate because all these people are doing this for the internet. Okay, they are all doing it for likes. Now, again, if there was going to be some fisticuffs or some sort of physical exchange, it would have happened a long time ago. I think these two middle-aged men need to just calm down. I think they need to go ahead and make sure their high blood pressure medicine is tipped at the top from CVS. They got the full prescription. Maybe go ahead to your primary care physician and get an increase in your blood pressure medicine. Also, make sure those CPAP machines are working tonight because, I mean, clearly this is very stressful. You're going to need a good night. Y'all need to check your blood sugar. And, these are the things that should be important to these middle-aged men. Making sure you get that menthol on those kneecaps. Get your wife to rub your back because what you need not be doing is out there fighting each other. Okay, both of you all, y'all got the man breasts going on and the double chin, and y'all got the Moorish beard popping off. But you're old. You're two old men. You're wearing caps because you're bald. This is not what you need to be doing, brother. This is not a good look for either one of you fellas. I mean, you are a hop, skip, and a jump away from the old folks' home. And at 40, I believe even 40 and 50 years old, it's time to calm down. It's time to calm down and take care of your children and wait for your grandchildren. This is not a good look for either one of you, bro. I love both of them. Appreciate them and their words. But this right here is not something you're going to find Uncle D out there doing. Again, like I said, I practice jujitsu. I literally fight every day. Sometimes I roll 14 hours a week, which means I go up to 14 classes. I do Shotokan. With my children, I do Kaju Kimbo. But what you're not going to see me doing is fighting somebody on a podcast. All right? You just gracefully get up and get on out of there. Okay, fellas? But y'all go ahead and check your blood pressure. Okay, make sure you get your scripts together. But let's go ahead and finish this.
Homie, you just running your mouth.
I'm not running my mouth.
You running your mouth. I don't do no
doing this shit for the internet. You doing it for
Yeah, so we've seen enough. We've seen enough. I think, praise God. Here's the thing with me, Uncle D, and as you all can see, the background is a little different. I'm a man of peace. Okay, you all know that. I'm a man of peace. So what I've done, okay, and for you all who know, all my African followers, I know y'all mad at me right now, but I've been studying African spirituality. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to try to evoke guidance and peace from the ancestors before we continue. So I have my incense here, say, look, there we go. We're going to light the incense up. Okay, we're going to, everybody in the chat room, I want you to align your chakras. Go ahead and align your chakra. Everybody say, Ashe. We're going to get it together. Okay, we got our incense. Look, I got both the blue candle and I got the red candle, okay? Because we're going to come together in unity. Okay, everybody, we're going to come together in unity. We're going to call forth the ancestors so we can find peace in the community. All right, look, I got the candles lit. See me? Look at me. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part to bring peace. Okay, everybody, this is me doing I don't want anybody to say that Uncle D is not trying to bring peace. Okay? I want y'all to look. I lit the red candle up. I'm lighting up the blue candle. Because this is for Anton and Corey. We want peace, y'all. We want peace. We can't have this sort of division. Look, I got the commission, the Egyptian little statue right there. We looking for peace. So let's go ahead and proceed. Y'all ready? Somebody type, woo, let me put a little water in there. Let's get the peace. Okay, I'm ready. Y'all ready? Let's calm down. Y'all good? Now we need to move forward in positivity. We don't need all this beef. Now, that being the case, the comment section are tearing these dudes up. I mean, the comment section is ruthless. And of course, you know me, I've taken the opportunity to, go ahead and extensively review the comment section. And this is what people have to say about this situation. I'm going to go ahead and bring the screen up so that we can examine for ourselves what's said. You guys make sure y'all hit the #1 button, and I'm going to bring the screen up, and we're going to read these comments together and do a play-by-play. This is what, because see, at the end of the day, these two gentlemen were trying to, I guess, prove a point or something like that. But, it didn't really work out that way because, as I said, these are two middle-aged black men. And, what do you have to prove? But anyway, brother named Frederick Hatcher said, homie went reverse real quick. He wouldn't say that SHIT again. He knew he effed up. And he's basically, when Corey Holcomb called him out, said, say it again. So, again, the people that don't like you are going to use this for more reasons not to like you. And you're giving them ammo. Another brother named Anthony Nelson said, in Durham, North Carolina, that disrespect would have gotten you a one-way ticket to your final destination. This is what I'm talking about. This is how it escalates. Kevin Brant Noble said, Corey got a taste of his own medicine. Dude said, put the mic down, and Corey didn't put it down, just a loudmouth. And so that does not help Corey. You got to you want this reputation as a tough guy, Mr. Corey. And look, Mrs. Corey, look, I'm not going to fight you on your broadcast. I'd never fight you on your broadcast, okay? Anton never invited me up to his, but I'd love to come up to some of them panels and talk to them people. I might talk crazy to them, okay? But y'all still see the incense in the back, right? Can y'all still see the incense? I want y'all to make sure, because of course I'm doing this for peaceful purposes. But I won't be fighting you all on your internet. Y'all feel free to invite me up anytime. And here's the thing. Oscar B. II said, I was thinking they both had heart till Corey said, say it again. And Anton said, I'm going to respect you because you're 2 inches away from me. Boy, the internet is crazy. Never heard of this guy. Been in Detroit 49 years. Who is he? Yeah, so, this is what the brother Donald Tinsley said. E. Brown says, social media got our people out here acting bad for the world to see, front row. And that's the problem that I have. You see what I'm saying? We all look bad. I can't even say this. Monrooney D. Hill, this takes us down a notch. Black bro, stop this. That's what I'm trying to tell you, okay? Anthony Lebo said he for sure sucks a little D. Oh, my God. So Daryl King said he retreated, simple as that. I-5 High Mileage said, as a Californian, I don't understand how this upper Midwest, East Coast dudes can be yelling insults all in each other's face and not fade up. After that second double down by Anton, blows would have been thrown. All that talking ain't happening in LA. And see, the thing is, I was raised in LA. You know what I mean? And I understand just what this fella means. And let me just be honest, a lot of you East Coast fellas and a lot of you folks from the Midwest, my perception is that, you all will allow things that people that I grew up with in South Central Los Angeles, I mean, you get sweated for wearing the wrong color. You can lose your life for being in the wrong place, much less saying something that inflammatory. But either way, I get that, but whatever, to each his own. But again, I don't think any of these gentlemen, neither one of these gentlemen wanted to fight. It was really just because if they wanted to fight, they would have. Zaquan Peterkin said, after everything Anton said, all Corey heard was sucking, what he said. All right. I'm with Corey on this. Corey is a real G for that. I never get that American shit. I'm from so and so. Right. I'm from Detroit. That's what Anton said. I'm from Detroit. So a place or a specific zodiac sign. Right. Yeah, I'm from Detroit. I'm an Aries. So what you got some special powers because of that? That's a good point. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what your zodiac sign is. It don't matter who you from. You can still, that's not going to save you, So again, it's best not to get involved in these sort of altercations, in my opinion. Now, before we get started, I'm gonna go ahead because I know there's a few people that probably want to come in and have something to say about this broadcast. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat room, and we'll let a few people in to discuss this hot mess. And again, I try to keep it positive, but when I see brothers and sisters, especially the brothers, taking us back a little bit, man, it's important that we address that. You understand what I mean? Because golly, what's the point of us building our reputation up if you got brothers who are out here tearing us down? Even though, these men generally, like I said, very successful men, very well spoken. But this is not something that we need to promote. And it's definitely something we need to address. And it happens all the time. All right. Now, he didn't want the smoke. Cardi Dura said the way she got up and got out the way. Right. The girl, she trying to get Corey to calm down. He about to go to war about that. Basically, they were both doing it for the camera. That's what I thought. Holcomb on the comedy side, he kept it real. So neither one of them wanted to do nothing for real or would have went down. And I'm for real. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying too. Michelle Queen Williams, he already said it multiple times. Why does he need to say it again? Either do something or go suck it. Oh, Lord. These N-words, lip wrestling. Somebody said lip wrestling. Somebody typed lip wrestling in the chat room. Somebody typed lip wrestling. Dead in that man's face and told him, say it again. Anton is straight. HOE. I'm from Detroit. Detroit, y'all, down bad for this one. Sean McCaskill, Corey from Chicago. You will get knocked out on GP, as we say. Y'all lucky he ain't beat him. He sized Corey up. F you. Okay. Roscoe Price. No comments. Rob Davis. He ain't saying it again. He got scared. Went from Detroit to I'm going to respect you. Good point. Again, if anybody wants to come in the chat room, the link is in the chat room. You're welcome to come in. He had, let me see. Kamara Marie Jones said, y'all get so mad, tell us to suck without telling us. Actually, Corey's supposed to have hit him in his poop for inviting him to his private parts. That's the ultimate one. I can't read the rest of this. Somebody said, Roy Lloyd Williams, real talk, no internet. We don't invite, Charlie Hustle said, we don't invite D's to arguments. That's some NY stuff. Patrick Cal, I think it's Carthan. No, I believe men raised around strong black men aren't going to be D sucking or that B word too many times. Yeah, that's not going to happen. You can't just sit around insulting people. That's ridiculous. Glenn Taylor, once N-words start sex playing and the combo is over, we're either going to get down or we're going to walk away. Yeah, just walk away from that foolishness, man. You don't sink to that level. You only fight when you have to defend yourself. I'm at the point now, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to be 51 in a couple of, or 52 in a couple of months. If I have to fight you, you're going to die. See, that's just how it goes at this point, because I tell people all the time, I'm not going to sit up here and box with you. If it's that serious, which means you've threatened my life or threatened the life of my family, you're going to die today. And I'm going to deal with the repercussions of that. So there's no need to fight at this age. That's a young man's sport. Boxing is for kids. Fighting is for kids. You see, that's what children do. When you 40 years old, you're a 40-year-old black man, a millionaire. Why are you threatening to fight anybody? Take your 2 feet, get up and walk away. Go back to your Rolex collection. You see, the problem with black men is that because we were disrespected throughout history so much in this country, we have this overly defensive response to what we perceived as disrespect. This is why now we don't go after the person that we really want to go after, the system that constantly disrespects us. You're going to bow down to the police. You're going to bow down to your supervisor. Okay. But if another black man calls you out your name, if another black man looks at you the wrong way, if another black man is from a different neighborhood than yours or has his hat turned in a different direction than you would like him to have his hat, you'll use that as a reason to try to destroy that man's life. And see, this is the problem that I have with our brothers. There was a black man, his name was Neely Fuller. Somebody type Neely Fuller in the chat room. Some of you all may remember him. Some of you don't. The brother passed away. But, you know, he basically said black people don't even need to get together unless it's over something positive. You understand what I'm saying? Look, I'm telling you, at 50, almost 52 years old, I've seen enough unalived black men to tell you most of them died over bullshit. Excuse my language. They died over bullshit. And if you want to just go ahead and throw your life away, I get it. But at the point where you have something to lose, you are over 40 years old, you are a multimillionaire, you're known throughout the nation, you're going up. Why would you risk your life or risk losing it all by being put in jail for 4 or 5 years or being put on probation because somebody said something you don't like or because you opened your mouth and said something that was inflammatory to someone, and then they end up going off on you? But again, it's that hypersensitivity to what we perceive as disrespect that get black men in a lot of these issues that we're dealing with. Okay, because in this particular situation, nobody's a winner. I'm looking at both of these gentlemen like I don't even want to be in the same room with that sort of behavior. Why? And now here you are. We can't even say we've elevated above that once we get money and education. In fact, you still doing nigger shit. Y'all still sitting up there referring to each other as niggas. You telling each other to suck dick and motherfuckers. And I'm from Detroit. That's ghetto hood rat behavior, family. I mean, just let's be honest. Let's just keep it 100. If I was on this platform and you guys saw me out on a debate somewhere and somebody said something ridiculous to me like that, and I did anything other than get up and say, hey, I don't want to participate in this conversation, you all would say that's not the type of lawyer that I want. You don't want something, you might laugh at it, you think it's funny, I can give a play-by-play, but damn, this low-class behavior, why would I want an attorney representing me like that? Why would I want a medical doctor or a school teacher teaching my children who's like that? Why would I follow anybody like that? You understand? That is clearly hood rat, ghetto, performative behavior, family. And we just have to just say what it is. Again, as we're trying to rest, somebody type we're resting. As we're resting, we need to also self-analyze and see what's up with our culture and make sure that we can isolate this and talk about this. Now, I done got off subject. Let's go back to these comments. Anton didn't want to smoke because he didn't stand on it and say it again. If he already said it, he already disrespected the man on his broadcast. Something I believe, but I'm gonna say ain't no other man gonna stop me from saying it. What I'm saying, because the fight gonna come with it. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Now your ego has got you involved. You know, obviously Anton came to his senses and he realized he was out of pocket. That's hopefully why he didn't say it again. But it shouldn't have been said in the first place. Jerome, shout out to Tobias Judah. Jerome Tip Little said, it don't matter where you from, is where you at. Don't give a F if you was from heaven. You disrespect me is going to be a problem. You see, he didn't repeat it. Antoine been a P word. He speaks like a P, and I don't know why it took people this long. All right, what they switched seats for. And see, the thing you got to understand, people like Anton, he's getting money on YouTube by saying these inflammatory things. He's saying these things because it brings eyeballs. But see, here's the thing. Now you've met reality. See, now reality, some of the stuff that folks say on the internet, they would never say in real life. You understand what I'm saying? They would never say this in real life. When you meet me, the reason I carry myself like this, the reason I'm very respectful to people, even when I disagree with them, is because I am out in real life. You see what I mean? When I went to the Black Manosphere Conclave, I'm as respectful in person as I am on these platforms. I treat every person with respect, even if I disagree with them. You see what I'm saying? Because I come from a generation where if you say something foul to somebody, you got to see them. You see, I come from a generation where you had to take that bus home. you had to walk to school. You see what I mean? You had to see them at the grocery store. So you're not just going to be playing with people. See, this is a generation of people that like to say things and hide behind screens. And unfortunately, when that rhetoric meets reality, you know, the technology ain't caught up with the fact that you still got to be out and about in these streets. And that's why when I see people like these young, you know, and I don't want to get too far off, so just shout out to Fire for Effect. When I see people like these young white boys who are saying all this racist stuff, boy, you're going to have to live in that skin for the next 30 or 40 years. Look at, what's his name, Zimmerman. You remember that, what's his name? What's that Zimmerman? What's his first name? What's that, the one that shot Trayvon Martin, that Zimmerman dude? I can't remember his name, George Zimmerman. So now he's homeless and he's out and about apparently, and he's exposed, and people still remember what happened and what he did and what he said back in 2014. Same thing for that young man, Nick Fuentes. He's just talking. But see, he's 27 to 28. You got to live on this earth for 50 years. How many enemies are you making by the words that you use? You see, and the same thing with Anton. Brother Anton says some inflammatory things. And you still got to be out and about amongst black people. And some black people are not going to like that. And they may confront you on that. You see what happened to Tommy Sotomayor. He used to say some very inflammatory things. And whether you agree with the brother or not, he said these things. And now, you know, I've seen several videos with Mr. Tommy Sotomayor was accosted by people. And see, this is the reality that we deal with. You have a right in the United States to the First Amendment, and that is to express how you feel. You have a right to free speech, but you do not have a right to well, let me see. You do not have a right to stop the consequences from from your free speech. People gonna respond, and some people are not gonna act within the law. Now we're gonna read a couple more of these comments, and we're gonna let a few brothers in and talk about this. Let me see here. He's right though. Corey B. S&D and is documented. I don't know. That's rumor, but that's what the sister says. Slim, and this is the internet. Clyde Chappell says Slim did not say SHIT when Corey got in his face. So please stop trying to act like dudes stood on business. Ant Bonaparte, a perfect example of an NFL Bears versus Lions game on the podcast. But seriously, no one mentioned how Darlene got right up and went to the side. She understood the assignment. LOL. Dennis Henry, he should have said it. He should have said it again because it's just words. He never touched him. You can say what you want. If you don't like it, oh well, but I would have said it again. And had he touched me, his life changes. People don't let words get you twisted. No, I mean, okay, that's easy to say theoretically, but when you insulting people like, because see, if I'm the judge and I'm sitting on the bench and I'm looking at the video and you basically told this man that you question this man's manhood, and then you got in his face, or he got in your face to confront you, and you said it again, and he whooped your ass, I might give him probation. Hell, I might not even take the charge. I might say he was provoked. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you never know what's going on. You all are counting on the fact that there's going to be some sort of criminal consequences for you saying something reckless and getting your ass whooped. That's what you're counting. You counting on the fact that a civil jury might reward you, so they might not give you a dime. I practice law all the time. You never know what a jury is going to say. They might not like you. Okay? They might like you and give you $1,000. They might not like you and give you $5,000, or they might just zero you out because they think you're stupid and they think you deserved it. This is what we're dealing with. That's why you get tried by a jury of your peers. You don't get what you deserve. You get what the jury wants to give you. You understand? And so, you know, you counting on the fact that there's going to be some consequences, and it might not be. Hell, you could get a multi-million-dollar judgment, and that same defendant go down to the local courthouse and pay $403 and file a bankruptcy lawsuit under Chapter 13 or Chapter 7, and you get nada. You understand what I'm saying? So all that for nothing. James Hanson said he was winning until Slim got close to him. When he said it again, all the feathers came out the pillow. He got scared and started the plea bargain. That is hilarious, bro. You are hilarious. James Hanson, you got the comment of the week. I'm trying to see the whole interview before I make judgment. I feel you. I don't know the context. I don't know what happened beforehand. I don't know what happened afterhand. If it's true, why he mad? Okay, if Orlando Bryan said if I was Corey, I would have smacked him like Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. Oh, Lord. Honorable mention, he said what he said, why he have to repeat it. Orlando Bryan, I stopped watching Anton because he's a narcissist. He says some stuff I agree with, but I see through him. He's hiding behind church, his marriage, and his money, and that's the mask narcissists put on to be covered and insidious. Now, again, these are comments by people who've already developed opinions about these different online media types. They've already developed the defense. So all you're doing is giving them more ammunition to talk bad about you. And once you get a whole bunch of people talking reckless about you, man, it's hard to make money anywhere. You start having diminishing returns. So, you know, by giving these folk ammunition, you're not helping yourself or your career. Common man, dudes think them being from Detroit means that they untouchable. Y'all first died. Oh Lord, he's talking that. Bella Soleil said DL Whisperer. Boy, y'all are undefeated. Angel Michael, better have proof of what you say, because I probably would have ended the conversation after he said no more talking. You disrespectful. Yeah, I'll just get up and leave. There's no need to entertain that. They both clowns need to be in a circus. Big up to Corey, real vibe, who brought you ain't easy. You showed that. Okay. He should have knocked him out of the chair. No cap. Dennis Omar, Anton folded like a lawn chair when Corey said it again. When he said, say it again, he already said it once. How many times you need to say it? Malik, Corey bitched up, if you ask me, because the N-word called him a D-sucker and told him that they could put the mics down and go outside. That's true, Al. He did challenge him to go outside. So let me see, Corey. Let me see here. Let's get to some more. Hot dog will a hot dog or hit dog will always holler. You've been in 3 movies. He said we can go to the back. He called you to the back, and that's it. So anyway, this is the internet. Let me see here. This is the internet. This is what the internet has to say, and for the most part, you know, we get that. All right. Now, here's the thing, family. I want to, like I said, we're not going to belabor the point, but I want to add some things before I let folk in. Okay. I want you guys to, you know, let's put a capstone on this before we start letting folk in. Golly. I guess let me say it plainly like this. All right. We all just watched, let me take a little sip of water first. We all just watched Anton and Corey Holcomb on Corey Holcomb's show 5150. And as I said earlier, and I'm going to say it again, generally speaking, it's not a good look for black men, period. No matter how you feel about what transpired, it's not a good look at all. And I want to be fair. I understand how it happened. And Anton's used language that crossed the line, language that questioned or implied something about Corey's manhood. And historically, those are fighting words among men. Corey's response, standing up, walking across the room, getting in Anton's face, that came from a place that we all understand. And let's be clear, I understand the reaction. But understanding something doesn't mean excusing it. Here's the larger issue. Both of these men occupy prominent platforms, and they're not anonymous people arguing in a barbershop. These are not 2 bums arguing at a homeless shelter. They represent the voices that many people, right or wrong, associate with black men and black America. And when moments like this happen, it plays directly into the narrative that has been used against black men for centuries, that we are overly emotionally or emotionally out of control, that we're violent, that we can't disagree without escalation to violence. And that's exactly what people who don't like us expect to see. Okay, and so let's talk consequences. All right. And again, I know I got some brothers in here waiting to come in and chop it up with me, and I think the link is still in the chat room, and I do want to hear what you have to say. As I said, Anton Daniels is beginning to appear regularly on Fox News. And I'm not talking about the local channel. I'm talking about the national news. And platforms like that, again, they're transactional. They don't tolerate embarrassment. And when you appear volatile or reckless, you lose credibility and you lose access. And whether you like Fox News or not, it's not irrelevant. Okay. And Corey Holcomb, yes, he's a comedian, but comedy is supposed to be funny. And once you cross into physical intimidation, the laughter stops. Look what happened to Will Smith. We still ain't forgave him. We still not going to see his movies. He's not the wholesome brother anymore in a bad spot with a horrible wife. We could understand that. What Corey Holcomb could have done, he could have dismantled Anton with humor. That's his superpower. He's a comedian. And instead, the moment shifted from comedy to confrontation, and that hurts his brand. And here's the final point. After the clip, the comment sections tell the real story, didn't it? People who already dislike Anton will use this to attack him. People who already dislike Corey will use this to attack him. Nobody wins. So here's the lesson for all of us. It's simple, but it's critical. When you reach a certain level, decorum is no longer optional. Words matter, restraints matter, dignity matters, and we have to treat each other with respect. I'm talking to you, black men. And it's not because we're weak, but because we're aware. We're aware of history, we're aware of optics, and we're aware that everything we do at the top is amplified. Those are my thoughts, and that's the lesson. And hopefully, it's one we don't have to keep relearning the hard way. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to let some brothers in and chop it up with me for a minute. We're going to do one at a time. Anybody who wants to come in, the link is in the chat room. We're going to start with Mr. Tunnel Runner. Welcome, brother. What would you like to add to this conversation?
Yeah, well, you said a whole lot, sir, but definitely, it's just a bad look. We got black men out there, powerful black men, arguing like kids. You know, they ain't gonna do. If you ain't gonna do nothing, you ain't gonna do nothing. And they wasn't gonna really do anything. I didn't the situation that I did want that question to be answered that he quote that he asked Anton, but he wasn't going to answer that question. So, if he wasn't going to answer, he ain't going to answer it, and you can't make him.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, if you have a problem with Anton's stance, because I know a lot of people will say that Anton can be anti-black in some of his rhetoric, and that's probably the reason why Fox News on a national level invited him up there, because he said some anti-black things that they couldn't normally say. But you don't beat him down, you confront him on his ideas. That's what we do in a free or open society. We confront people on their ideas, and I think that's the best way to handle it. But thank you so much, brother. I'm gonna get somebody else in here. I appreciate you, Tunnel Runner. Let's get another brother in here. Mr. Issa Al-Askari, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, brother. It's good seeing you again. What would you like to add to this conversation? And we're gonna, if you want to come in, the link is in the chat room. We'll get some folks in. We're moving quick. Go ahead, brother. What would you like to add?
The only thing I like to say is I just wouldn't have had him up there at all. You know what I'm saying? It's not my cup of tea. I don't like Anton. You know what I'm saying? I think he is Sambo, and it's my personal opinion. I didn't develop a respect for human life in the 30s. Probably both from the 48, 44. You know what I'm saying? So we was always taught death before dishonor. You know what I'm saying? And bro, using them kind of words, I understand the thing about self-control, and I'm actually proud of Corey because you can tell when he took that pause, he thought about from the last situation when somebody got beat up on his podcast, how he lost everything. So he paused and thought about that. Like, okay, if I dust him off, because I'm a little bit more familiar, you know what I'm saying? A couple of the guys wanted to do something to Anton, but Corey told him no. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can't get into an argument and then he leave and something happened to him. And you know what I'm saying? So, but see, he's just too disrespectful, man.
But see, now you're looking at a conspiracy charge and it just escalates. And what's the eventual outcome? One black man hurt, another black man goes to jail, both black men look bad, all black men look bad. So it's a no-win situation, man. So, you know, my thing is, and these are not young boys. These are not YNs we talk about. These are not teenage boys. These is grown men with families, multimillionaire black men. And look, I'm not being judgmental, but I am gonna be a little judgy. You know, you should know better, brothers. You should be focused on your CPAP machine and making sure it got some water in it. You out here threatening to box each other. You need to make sure your high blood pressure medicine is not on recall. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, brother, I'm gonna let
Mess
somebody else
around,
say
have a
thank you
heart
so
attack
much.
in the middle of the ordeal.
You swinging right. Oh Lord, hold on now. The same person you was fighting got to give you CPR. God damn it. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Thank you, brother. You be blessed. Anyway, let's get my man Chris Baker in here. Anybody else who want to join in, you welcome to come in. Chris Baker, what would you like to add to the conversation, man?
What's going on? I was just thinking when I had seen it last night, I was thinking personally, what would set you off so bad that you would tell that man that he sucks the D of black people? Was it because he said that you kiss white folks' butt? Would that set you off that bad? That's where the thing came from me. Or was because he was talking about his content? He told Anton that he makes content that talks about white women, but you don't speak about white men. And in my opinion, I think that's what set the whole conversation off. But I just wanted to get that in, and I'm out of here.
No, brother, you laying the context. I appreciate you explaining that to us, because I'm like, how did y'all even go there in the first place? I've done dozens and dozens of interviews with a lot of irascible people, and we've never come to blows. I mean, I'm standing in. Look, let me tell you, I work out of Houston, Texas. Okay, and we got these surrounding counties. Okay, let me tell you something. I am licensed in Louisiana and Texas and Arkansas. Okay, these are three of the most racist states in the United States. I've literally walked in the courtroom and they got a Confederate flag hanging outside the courtroom. This is in Shreveport, Louisiana, back in 2000.
I got one in Covington, Virginia.
And I have never told the judge, "You sucking dick, judge. Fuck you, judge." I've never been compelled to say that. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't see why two grown middle-aged black men, okay, can't have a decent conversation and not, especially these intelligent black. These are not. I expect more from them, brother. I get it. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I know myself, and most of you brothers too. You wouldn't want to take that either. But damn, do we have to perform like that all the time? Man, I like these two cats, man. I want to see them do well. But anyway, brother Chris, thank you for your input. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. We're gonna let some more brothers up in here. Let's see who else we got. We got brother Malcolm speaks. Welcome, brother Malcolm. What would you like to add to the conversation, sir?
Thank you for letting me on. Dennis, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, brother. Oh, you broke up again.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Dennis, thanks for a great program, brother. Thanks for having me on. I'm a first time caller. So first of all, just to give you some background as to how the conversation kind of got that way, to sum it up really quickly, they got on a conversation about slavery. Okay, and then Anton was basically taking the stance that he wasn't a black person. He said that he wasn't a black person. He didn't say that explicitly, but he pretty much said in no uncertain terms that he wasn't black. He don't consider himself black. And then he essentially said that black people were the first people to own slaves in this country. And then when Corey called him out and said, you kissing up to white Zaddy, but you won't hold them accountable, then that's when the conversation kind of took a left turn.
Hold on.
And so I appreciate everything that you point out the way that you do.
Hold on. Slow down. You telling me that Anton Daniels told somebody he wasn't black? Now look, and I don't know.
He said so when he the way that Corey asked him a question, he said, Anton said, what do y'all want? And Corey said, when you say y'all, what do you mean by what do y'all want? He said, black people. He said, what do y'all want in context of slavery? And Corey said, so you don't, he said, so are you not black? And Anton said, I'm a Christian. So, that whole, I'm not black, I'm OJ type of deal. That's what Anton's on. And that's what Anton's always been on. So if anybody that knows, this is why I don't like Anton. I don't have no respect for people like him. And honestly, and that's why I appreciate the way that you posed what you did and talked about the history of the disrespect that black men have had in this country and how it's hard for us to conversate amongst each other sometimes about certain topics. And this is what I want to get at, Dennis, is because when you have a side and people like Anton who are just straight up coons, right? They just straight up coons. Ultimately, what it's going to take for us as black people, and this is, I would like your input in this. I feel like as black folks, for us to delineate and us to get everything that we rightfully owed and been owed and deserve in this country, we're going to have to not only delineate from other groups, we're going to have to delineate from people amongst ourselves that identify as coons like Anton does. And so when people, everybody in the comments that keep saying Corey was disrespectful first, they're not really putting it in context, because really Anton was on some anti-black stuff the same way that he always is and always was. Okay. So when they had the conversation, he is approaching this from a standpoint of, I'm on the outside looking in, and you are the black ones. Y'all got to figure out what's going on. And so when Corey started asking him, pressed him like, okay, so what are you? And he says, I'm a Christian. He literally said, I'm a Christian. Bro, listen, fam, I believe in the Messiah, Christ too, right? But at the same time, bro, everybody's literally against you as a foundational black American. How the hell are you going to sit here and say you're a Christian? So essentially, Anton is a white man in blackface.
All right.
Right? That's what he is to me. So he's no different than a white person talking about black culture, and you don't know.
All right. No, I kind of get where you're going. Let me just play devil's advocate. Okay. Again, I can appreciate Anton Daniels' positions, and I would argue them point for point. Okay. And we still don't have to resort to threatening each other and insulting each other's manhood. Now, in my opinion, Anton, with the statement that, you were dick sucking black people, right? Kind of took it a little far. I mean, we say you kissing people's ass all the time. That's not right. It does not infer that someone is literally kissing someone's ass, and there's no gender associated with that. But when he affirmed that black men or that Corey Holcomb was sucking black people's dick, that's some real emasculating sort of terminology, and I can see how it would escalate at that point. You see, because I mean, this is the internet, and people take things and chop them up, and if you let something like that, just circulate, then next thing you know, you losing your fan base and you messing up your money. I get that. But I don't understand why two intelligent, well-spoken black men can't have a conversation about slavery and say, you know what, I agree. There are some things that black people need to do in our culture, but there's also some systematic reasons why we're dealing with what we're dealing with right now that you seem to be overlooking. Now, I'm going to let you say some more, and we're going to get some other people in because you've made some great points. Go ahead.
I can answer that. I can tell you why, Dennis, is because going back to something I said earlier, when you have one side who was literally already, they've sold out and they've committed to selling out, right? Like, I don't have no proof of this. I don't want to make, so I'll say allegedly, to protect your platform. But we all know Anton gets money from them folks to talk bad about black people. I know, right? So when you have somebody who is already committed to being disingenuous in their stance, specifically as it pertains to us as foundational black Americans, we don't. I'm sorry, Dennis. Like, I'm a peaceful person too, but
what you do with that is that you don't threaten bodily harm. You fight them on the ideas, because you fight them on the ideas because the other people who are listening will make the determination. The only reason that people who say derogatory things about black people who are themselves black have an audience is because white people are the people who don't like, and it's not all white people, but the white people who would use them as a mouthpiece and a tool know that they have influence over black people. But the minute we begin to call them out and they lose their power, guess what? That tool that they were for white people is no longer effective, and they get cast out. That's why you have people like, what's that young lady that was in that bit? It was, I forget that young girl, the young lady from back in the day. She was a video vixen, and now she's been married 3 or 4 times, and she got put out, and she was trying to go on Fox News. I forget the young lady's name. She was in videos back in the day. She's like Kanye West's cousin or something like that. Say again.
Corinne Stafford, Superhead.
Nah, not that girl. The one with the, I forget her name.
You talking about Stacey Dash or Corinne?
People like Stacey Dash. People like Stacey Dash when they pivot.
Superhead. Corinne.
Well, I don't know about Superhead. Yeah, but anyway, brother, let me go ahead and get somebody else in here. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get if you want to come in, you got a cam up. Let me get Ali Dyer in here. Ali, what would you like to add to the conversation?
All right, well, I mean, both of them, I look at their platform as entertainment, right? I don't really take them dead serious.
Fair enough.
But I would say from both standpoints, I disagree with some of their content. Like the marriage thing with Anton, I remember he talks about, if a woman has kids and you shouldn't marry her. I mean, you got some good women out there who got kids. It just is what it is, right? If he divorces at his age, 9 times out of 10, he's gonna get a woman who's definitely not a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with Corey though, I think Corey's just typical hood nigga. I mean, just to be honest, and I think both of them never actually were challenged, like face to face, like they were. Like both viewpoints were challenged. Like a lot of people thought Anton Daniels was kind of like, teetering, I think it's teetering the fence or whatever. And Corey Holcomb, I mean, like to be honest with you, I mean, you can't really take Corey seriously. He talks about women 24/7. And when both
here's the thing, brother. Whatever they say, like one of the things I don't really do on the broad, I don't give relationship advice because everybody likes whatever they like. You understand? And the other thing is, like, when you really listen, and a lot of these men are basing what they say off of what they heard Kevin Samuels say. But when you really listen to Kevin Samuels, he was not talking to every man. He was talking to what he categorized as high value men who can basically declare what they want and get it. If you are a man and you haven't worked yourself up to that, you'd be lucky to get you a baby mama with a couple of kids. You better sit down and be happy you got a woman. You see what I'm saying? Because you haven't got to that point. But when you talk about multi-millionaire men who have access to women all over the world, who have money, resources, connections, education, they have everything, then those men kind of like, they can kind of do what they want. They're hard to handle, and they have a lot of requirements and standards they're going to impose on women. And one of those is that she be fit, feminine, intelligent, with no children, and and cooperative. But if you are you let me finish, brother. If you are older brother, a little bit out of weight, out of shape, you got a little regular job, doing regular things, you might be happy to get yourself a baby mama with a couple of kids or ex-divorcee, because that's pretty much all that's available to you on the market largely, and that's not across the board. But that's what Kevin Samuels was talking about. He wasn't talking about every man should follow that advice. And so we have to put that in context. Now, as far as what Corey Holcomb says, and as far as what Antoine Daniels, shouldn't they be allowed to say that without coming to blows?
They should, but I think because Corey and Anton never actually been challenged quite in the setting that they have been, that they were just in, like face to face like that.
Okay.
That I don't think neither one of them knew actually how to handle it. Like somebody is challenging you straight out. Like this isn't, you on a platform with 5 other people on a panel. No, this is face to face. I'm challenging your thoughts and your opinions on things, and I think both of them just couldn't handle it. I mean, they
reverted back. They reverted back to what they knew best, and that's that hood ghetto culture that we all have tried to escape, or that we say we escape. That's where I'm at now, man. It's like
one of the things let me say this last thing.
Go ahead.
One of the things I did like what Corey did, even though one of the things I like what Corey did was he did stay on the fact of asking Anton Daniels about the whole thing about doing more videos on Caucasian people, because we do know that they will highlight us and our crimes, but they don't highlight none of their crimes.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. Anton Daniels can do whatever he wants to do on his platform. It's his. If you want to highlight white people, go ahead and do it on yours. You can't tell another man what to do on his platform. So You know,
True.
anyway, and Anton Daniels' platform wouldn't be as popular as it is if other people wasn't watching it. So who do you blame? You blame him or you blame the audience who consumes it? Brother, I got to get some other people in here. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get Mr. DMR in here. Brother DMR, welcome to the broadcast, DMR. What would you like to add to the broadcast? And again, we got other people who want to come in. The link is in the chat room. Feel free. Go ahead, talk to me.
Hey, Brother D, what's going on?
What's up,
as far as the confrontation is concerned, neither man had training. Like you said earlier, you don't get in a man's space. So I know from that confrontation, Anton ain't got no real training, nor Corey don't have no real training. You know what I'm saying? Because Anton should have never let him get in his space like that. That's all I gotta say, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, brother, you could like at the point where, and I'll pull the video. Let me see if I can pull this video back up. And I'm not gonna let the video play again, but you kind of just point out the same thing I said. If there was really gonna be,
suck the dick of
if there was really gonna be a confrontation at this particular juncture right here, you know, when people start getting up, you're not gonna let anybody. If they really, even a non-trained dude, at that point, you know, there's a conflict. You see what I mean? And I'm not gonna sit around and let you get close enough to hit me. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Soon as he did this, look, soon as he did that right there, I was like, oh man, back right there, right there. He's too close. He's too close in his face, man.
I agree.
Too close to him.
And so here's the thing, DMR, that lets me know this is largely performative. But even in this performance, it is not befitting men of their caliber. That's my whole thing.
Yes, sir.
We are talking about the leaders of our community. And I don't care if you don't like Anton. I like some of the things the young brother says. In fact, I am a staunch supporter of HBCUs. But some of the things that he and other black men have to say about HBCUs, the rampant fraud and some of that other stuff make me say, well, damn, it's not his fault. He's the person who we want to donate to the HBCU. So what do we need to do to make it more befitting? So again, he's entitled to his opinion. We need his opinion. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What we don't need him or Corey Holcomb to do is result to this nigga shit that makes us all look bad. That's the problem that I have. I don't care what Anton says. We can combat him on his words. We can combat him on the things he says. Same thing with Corey Holcomb. I think the brother's a little too harsh in some situations when it comes to sisters. It does not seem like it comes from a place of love. Even though I know he has some issues with his baby mama and all that other stuff. Still, brother, other people are looking at you and listening to you. You are looked at as a role model. People might take what you say as truth, as written in stone, and they'll roll with that. And there's no context associated with that. So when we get to these points, when we get to this great big age, this great big old age of 40 plus years old, we need to behave differently. We can't be out there acting like these YNs. How can we chastise these youngsters for getting, for escalating something beyond what it needs to be escalated to when, you know, you grown-ups are doing the same thing. This is the example we said. This is why I try to do what I do, brother. That's why I put my children on the internet. Y'all can see how we comport ourselves. And I try to carry myself with dignity and structure. I try to be this example. And I do my very best to defend us as black men specifically and foundational black men, foundational black people in whole. But then when we have our high, you know, our well-spoken, articulate black men doing this, it's like it tears all that down. But go ahead, DMR. Please finish and we don't let somebody else.
I asked this question though. Yeah. If Anton Daniels was a white man and he said the same thing to Corey Holcomb, would he take that same position? That's like you said earlier, brother. We have a tendency on trying to check each other. We don't check white people for nothing. And I've seen this many a times in the black community. You know what I'm saying? I've seen this many times, man. So I got to ask that, because if not, then all of that is irrelevant. That behavior was totally uncalled for, man. Well, it was totally uncalled for.
Here's the thing, and like I've touched on this before. I would expect if any man told you something like that, you would be insulted. I expect
Right,
that. Okay.
right.
But the thing is, it is because of our special situation here in the United States, black men, especially black women too, we have a hypersensitivity to what we feel is disrespect because we've been so disrespected and unable to do what we want to do. It's like if you have some dogs behind a fence and you're walking by that fence and you aggravating it, you hitting that fence with a stick, and eventually those dogs who are barking at you will turn on each other because they can't get to the one they want to get to. See, there's a penalty associating with trying to get to the person you want to get to. So now what do? You double up and triple up on even mild slights by people in your own neighborhood that look like you.
Right.
You see
right.
what I mean?
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
when your question is, would Corey Holcomb have done the same thing, or would Anton Daniels have said the same thing to a white man? Well, historically speaking, we don't necessarily go after white folk the way we go after each other. That's why when I look on the internet and I look at a black person who's been unalived by a white person or a police officer, typically the first thing they do is say, I forgive them. You know, the black mothers and black preachers get on the internet and say,
right.
Yeah, we forgive them. If a black man step on your goddamn shoe in 1973, you still talking about the fight you had. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, so let's give each other a little bit more grace. But thank you so much. I appreciate your wisdom.
All right, brother D.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes, sir.
my brother.
I ain't done this in a long time, man. I really enjoyed talking to the brothers. Let's get Black Samurai in here. We got a couple other brothers who want to come in. If you want to join the chat, you're welcome to come in. But Black Samurai, it's been a minute, brother. What would you like to add to this conversation?
First of all, I would like to thank you for having me on, Uncle D.
Yeah, man.
You know, to me, it's a lot had came by. I know I've been on the show for a while. You know, I got to do a job. I got to promote it. So I'm gonna keep it brief because I'm at the workplace.
Let me hold $5, man. Let me get $5, man. Go ahead. I'm just kidding.
Anton was wrong because he's coming on somebody else's platform. You should have respect and grace when somebody else bring you on a platform. He came out of pocket. The way he was talking is out of pocket. I think he was baiting. I think he was baiting Corey Holcomb because Anton, he's not the typical black man. He's a trust fund baby. I mean, I was a member of his until he said some off the wall, off the cuff stuff that made me not be a member anymore. Know what I'm saying? So to me, I see him as nothing more than, a clown, a raccoon that's on there. This is going on just for show, just for shock. I know he's a right wing, commentator or whatever. Let him go that lane. But to me, I think he was going at it with Corey, and he couldn't really win going back and forth on his show. So he had to resort to going below the belt. And I think Corey is being sort of a street dude. He should have took it another way, took it off the camera instead of going on camera.
No, I mean, here's the thing, brother. And I get what you're saying. And I agree with you. I would never go on somebody's platform and say something that derogatory to. I'm a guest in their house, and I appreciate them and their exposure. It was the reason I went on there. I wouldn't do that, but I comport myself differently. Again, I'm from a different age group. Anton's a young man. He's only like 40. He's got one child. He's got a wife. The brother's only been married to the same woman for 30 years. I'm just suggesting that maybe he doesn't have the life experiences that some of the rest of us had. And you inferred that the young man comes from a background of privilege, and I salute him on that. But, being a street nigga, and I hate to say that and I hate to use that terminology, but unfortunately, having grown up, in South Central LA, you can lose your life for a lot more than that, a lot less than that, I should say. And I've learned boundaries. I've learned people to make people respect my boundaries and respect other people's boundaries. I would never get on some platform and or anywhere disrespect another man like that, because I know those are fighting words and that could lead to loss of life or perhaps maybe serious damage and worse.
Right.
But the thing is, the young man is entitled to say what he wants to say. You see what I mean? He's entitled to voice his political opinions, and whether you call him a coon or a sellout, whatever. I've had people try that with me, and then I'm like, really, where? What part? Because you disagree with what I'm saying? Maybe Anton's right. Maybe he's not. Maybe Corey Holcomb's right. Maybe he's not. I think we just should find a better way to disagree with each other as black men instead of always going to the insults and it escalating into what seems to be potential violence, or at least that sort of performance. What else would you like to add, brother? And then we're going to go to another brother in the chat room. What else would you like to add? And the link is in the chat room. Anybody else who wants to talk, go ahead.
Well, one thing I'd like to add is, as a whole FBA, we need to look at our image outside of ourselves and conduct ourselves in a more professional manner. Like in the next few years, you're going to see black men, like Kevin Samuel said, as being more professional, being out there and gaining more, getting more exposure. Just be mindful, because we all grew up in that environment. But in order to be growth as a human and self growth, you gotta either I take my example. I survived out of that, but that don't define me.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it could be that, but that's not going to define me or who I am, because I know I grew up out of that and made something of myself. And I'm not going to destroy that. I'm not going to destroy that just because of you saying something, trying to provoke me. And I'm just wanting that, because most of the young people.
And that's what I mean, Black Samurai. You hit the point that I was trying to make. It's one thing to be a youngster growing up in the ghetto, and this is how you've learned to resolve conflict. It's another thing to be a 40-plus-year-old black man who has a family and who has children and who has popularity, who has wealth, who basically attained what most Americans would consider to be the American dream, and you still resort to this niggardly behavior. You see, that means that none of us can outgrow or escape that when our highest examples of manhood and masculinity and black intelligentsia resort down when pushed, they resort down to this backwards behavior. That's my problem. You see, that means we can never escape. That means, see, that the people who want to cast us in that light, they'll say, see, we told you. They never change. Doesn't matter how much money you give them. Doesn't matter how much education they attain, or they're still the same. You see what I mean? So it feeds that stereotype. That's the problem that I have. Thank you so much, Black Samurai. We're going to get another brother in here. I appreciate that. Look, before I let the next brother in here, look, y'all make sure you all subscribe to this channel. I need you all to go ahead, take the time right now and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to get another brother in here, but I'm going to go ahead and light another incense, because, of course, we have called forth the ancestors, because we want the ancestors to come bring peace into this conversation. That's why we're here today. Uncle D has been reading his African spirituality books, because, I have a lot of African people who are angry with me right now because I'm calling them out on their behavior. All right. So I'm trying to get in contact with the ancestors and let them tell me what's going on. So because of that, I'm ready for this conflict resolution style broadcast that we have going on. As you see, I have in the back, I have both the red and the blue candles. Okay. The both red and blue candles permeating the air. It smells like ginger and turpentine up in here because of these very cheap incense candles that I purchased from the corner store. But nevertheless, y'all make sure somebody said red and blue candle. That's right. That's right. I'm trying to get peace. Okay. But anyway, man, you guys make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I try to keep it humorous, but it's a very serious matter. It affects all of us because it weighs a lot on our reputations, black men. And if I'm out here defending us, then you guys got to make sure you're not causing us to lose ground, reputationally speaking. Nevertheless, we got Black Muslim in here. Welcome, brother. What would you like to add to the conversation, sir?
I agree with you, Unc. They shouldn't be. What's going on, Unc?
What's up, brother? What's happening, man?
Jump right into the convo. I definitely agree with you. They shouldn't have been acting that way. But I don't want to let Anton off the hook. See, Anton was being cornered in the conversation about, you know what I'm saying, how he, treats black men, how he talks about black men versus how he talks about white men. And so when he started to get cornered, he's like, stuck in this situation. Now he's like, okay, look, the only default I got to get out of this is to just throw hands, right? If I can make a big confrontation, then now we can cut this now, so we don't have to keep going into the conversation. Because
can we
never answer the question?
Look, I'm gonna ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. Can we give him credit for going in that hostile environment, knowing those are the type of questions that he was going to be asked?
I definitely think that's good. I definitely think he is due credit for that, right? Like stepping up to the plate, sitting down to have a conversation. But the question still remains the same. Like, you talk badly, you quick to trigger. And actually his reaction was also proves Corey's point even more, because you were quick to trigger against Corey. But when I asked you to tell me right now, right here, what is the things that white men do, you said, I don't want to talk about it. And so that's part of the, you know, the ongoing problem, you know, with this situation. Like, you gotta say, like, you know, he's still not have nothing to say against this group of people. And so there's this issue that we have amongst ourselves where we're easily, I can take you out no problem because you look like me. Because you know what I'm saying, you're one of mine. I don't have no problem with you. I'm not scared of you. I know what you can do. But them, I'm afraid of. So I'm not even gonna say nothing. Or them, that's where I get my money. Or them, I need to get respect from them. So there's this issue that you put them in this place where you're afraid of them, but us, you're ready to kill. And that's why we have some of the issues that we have in our community, right? I don't see you as fully as a man as, you know, someone else, right? And so this is part of the issue. So he didn't have no problem. He could have said, you know what, this is my issues with white people. This is what they did to mess up the country. Because his platform is essentially, I'm about America. I'm about the United States, the nation, right? That's his platform, right? And making it better. So just like black people cause problems, white people cause problems too. It's not like it's so when called out on that, he should have been able to speak up and say, you know what, this is what they do. But he did it. Instead, he said, let's fight so I can get off here, so I can get out of here, because I can't take no copy of hits in that sector.
Well, I mean, I can't read in. I don't think it was contrived in that regard. I think what happened was, and I don't know the context, and I'm not in either one of these gentlemen's minds, but I'm pretty good at sorting people out. Perhaps he felt as though he was insulted, and he returned. He told Corey Holcomb, is my understanding, that Corey Holcomb inferred that he was kissing white people's butt. And so Anton, in an attempt to escalate it, said, well, you're sucking black people's dicks.
Right. So
then hold on. And in his mind, that was a fair exchange. Okay. But it came out in a way that, okay, kissing ass and sucking dick is two different things. One of those could be either one. That's because you kissing ass is something that's commonly known. Done. Right. Telling somebody you suck a dick, you inferring I'm gay.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now you on my platform inferring that I'm gay, telling people I don't care what you do, whose penis I'm allegedly, you know, messing with. God damn it, you ain't gonna sit up here on my show and infer that.
100%. And I think like that was also part of the issue. Where he used that as an escalator, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just
go ahead
staying here. He could have just said, you kiss black people. You know what I'm saying? And what makes it crazy is Corey Holcomb is black. He can't kiss his own. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man. Yeah, but look, man, we've always had, here's the thing, and we got some more people in the chat room. We've always had black men who've been on that conservative sort of thing. And I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with the brothers who are liberal. I'm okay with all. I want you all to have your voices. See, this is what my broadcast is about. I invite your voices because it shows how thoughtful and intelligent we are. And when I force you, or not just me, but when we're forced to defend our beliefs and our views, they become well honed, they become sharpened. I'm okay with that. But what we shouldn't do is go off track and threaten each other with bodily harm. You see what I mean? I think that's just a violation. But yeah, man, we have a way in a black community for dealing with people who are what we consider sellouts, what we consider coon. We have a way of dealing with that. Our culture has developed that. Okay, we don't just go beat them up. We talk bad about them. We expose them to the other black people, and then they lose their power and influence they have over black people, and then they're no longer a tool that can be used against us. We have a cultural mechanism for that, a very complicated and beautiful culture, and I've talked about that extensively on my page. We have a beautiful a foundational Black American culture that deals with that. So anyway, let's go ahead. Thank you so much, Black Muslim. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get Niriddin FDNY guy. Welcome. You're gonna have to turn the music down, brother. Is that music or that's background noise? And then we got some other people who want to come in. You're gonna have to cam up. We got to make sure you cam up. We got to have you cammed up. You can't not put the camera on if you want to come in. What's up, brother? What would you like to add to the conversation?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You kind of fade in and out, but I can hear you. Go ahead. Yeah, I can hear you.
You know what this reminds me of, and I hate to say it. It reminded me of what happened with Chris Rock and Will Smith when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock at the Oscars on national television for the world to see, And now you have Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels doing it again. It's almost like, well, you know, he was at the Oscars, so you can't take these black men nowhere. You know, he was at the Oscars in a tuxedo. He ran up and slapped another black man. So you can't take these ninjas anywhere. That's what it reminds me of.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. This is Will Smith and Chris Rock 2.0. It's just on the internet now for the world to see.
Yeah.
And Kevin Samuels said, right, we have our reputation, our image is everything. If we're out here comporting a bad image, it makes us all look bad.
Yep.
He said it himself. And that's why a lot of guys are getting their passports. And the passport bros is not just guys getting chicks. It's all about escaping the foolishness that we have to deal with every day, that good guys have to deal with every day. And you want us to come back and fix the dysfunction that didn't have anything to do with, and you're still comporting yourself like that. I'm like, well, no wonder the passport dads and the passport bro juniors are getting passports. I can see it.
Well, see, the problem is, brother, there's no geographical solution for an emotional problem. If you do nigga shit in the United States, you're gonna do nigga shit in the DR. You're gonna do nigga shit in Thailand. You have brothers right now who are over in what do they call it, Pattaya, Thailand, fighting each other over the strippers and the hookers and the prostitutes. You see what I'm saying? So there's really no, that's what I'm saying. There's no.
So you're doing it for the world to see.
Yeah, there's no geographical solution for an emotional problem. And the problem that I have is when you have very mature, intelligent, well-spoken, successful black men who still resort back to niggardly behavior. And I know I'm using strong language, but it's in the Oxford Dictionary. And if you look it up, it will tell you exactly what I'm describing.
You mean with the ninjas?
Black men who resort to that, it demonstrates what others feel about us, that you can't never grow out of it. They still, shout out to Sherry Knight and shout out to everybody who's contributed to the super chat, the Cash App and the PayPal. I did not really expect you all to contribute too much because we really just addressing some remedial stuff here, and it's not one of the traditional lessons that I give. I actually had a huge plan tonight. I was going to talk about Greenland, Iraq. I was going to talk about Iran. I was going to talk about the invasion and what Donald Trump is doing. It's going to be entitled it was going to be entitled American Gangster. But I think this is going to probably sap all my energy, and I got to get back to work after I finish this. But let me finish this, and I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish saying what you were gonna say. So yeah, you can't get around that. We should be able to say, hey, by the time I'm 40 years old, I've sorted through all those cultural issues that we had as young people, as YNs. We're no longer the YNs. We're no longer, what did Hillary Clinton call us?
After deplorables?
The predators. We're no longer predators. We have assented to intelligent, hardworking Black men who know how to comport ourselves and know how to have an intelligent conversation, even if the topic matter is emotionally charged, even if the subject matter is emotionally charged. And what Anton and Corey did are very successful, very well-spoken men. It's just like it did not serve our interests well, in my opinion. But please go ahead, and we're gonna go ahead and finish up here, and I'm gonna let somebody else in, please, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, when you said that, that they're very successful and very, very established guys. I take a look at what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. How Will Smith just walked up to him and slapped him on national television. Yeah. And I'm like, this is the Oscars. This is the pinnacle of your career as an actor, and you're out here comporting yourself like this. I'm like, no wonder they're saying, yep, even at the Oscars, they act like fools. You can't take these. You can't take these. I don't want to say the actual N-words, so I call them ninjas.
Anywhere.
You can't take. I call them ninjas. You can't take these ninjas anywhere. Look. See, he did it at the Oscars. Another black man assaulted another one.
I get what you're saying, and there's a young person in the chat room. There's a person in the chat room said, "Well, Dennis, you're a lawyer. You should know better." But see, it doesn't take a. in other words, I wouldn't do that because I'm a lawyer. No, education doesn't change who you are, and having good manners and home training and knowing how to comport yourself in public has nothing to do with your level of education. There are poor people who came about the South, who had little or no education, who amongst our people, foundational Black American, and they didn't act like that. They know how to act like dignified, well-mannered human beings. So it's not about education. It's about class and dignity and restraint and self-respect. And as the brother brought up, none of this that Will Smith thought he was defending the honor of his woman, none of that helped him. He's lost hundreds of millions of dollars as a result of it. And the thing about it is, Anton and Corey need to understand there's no winner in that situation. Look at the comment section. You're not going to come out of there and say, well, yeah, I punked him. He tried to punk me and I checked him. Everybody looks like a fool. None of you guys are going to win. So it's best just to get up and walk away, period. And then you get to maintain your dignity and you don't sink down into that sewer, into that swamp with the other guy. Thank you so much, Nerd, and I appreciate you, brother. We're going to go ahead and get Keith Cole in there. You, brother, got a lot to say about this conversation. Welcome, Kenneth Cole.
What's going on, Dennis? How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
I got all your shirts in the closet. I got all my with you, man. All right, brother. What would you like to add to the conversation, sir?
Yeah, first of all, I watch a lot of your content, man. I appreciate what you do.
Thank you, sir.
Between Anton and Corey Holcomb. I know it was a few back and forths, right? But I think a lot of the brothers that you allowed on in this show kind of like hit it on bits and pieces. The problem is that majority of us are white supremacists and we don't know it. Right? And Anton kind of exposed a little bit of that because when you're in someone's house, right? Like if I'm in your house, I'm not going to cross certain lines in your house, right?
Yes,
I'm going to have a higher level of respect because I'm in your house.
Yes, sir.
Versus if we meet outside in public, whatever the case may be. But one thing I can say is Corey is pretty much an honest person about who he is. He talks a lot about himself. He pretty much, just is a straight shooter when it comes to that. I think it's very difficult for all of us to not be hypocritical. I think that's a challenge for all of us in life. I think we all have a bit of hypocrisy. But be that as it may, I believe Anton was wrong, man, when he made the sexual comment. Like you mentioned earlier, we all talk about, we all say certain things that we know is not really, it's not going to go. Like you could say, hey, Ken, you were a hypocrite when you came to this. Or you could say, hey, Ken, you were sucking up when it came to this. That's fine. But when you talk about oral, now it's like, all right, so what
he's gay. You are gay. Okay, you are gay. That's why that's bad.
Right.
You can't say that shit. Yeah.
The bigger issue is for Anton, he claims that he's a Christian, right? And things like that. But I've seen him attack brothers on the street from like a lot of the Israelite camps who teach the Bible because they were giving him correction. He made a whole show about them. So that in itself is hypocritical, right? And it's like, okay, look, if you walk this path of a Christian, and like you stated, Anton is a brother, man, that we could, that could be an intricate part in what Black men are trying to do. Because I think he's been married for a long time. I think he has financial success and things like that. So it's sad that guys like him say, on one hand, I'm this class, right? I'm this level of class that you should try to replicate, et cetera, et cetera. But then you go into someone's house and you behave that way, right? That you would claim that's beneath you. So now as Anton, that's a blemish on your resume.
Yeah.
You gotta live with that. And Anton, you got a child. You know what I mean? You ain't got no business talking like that. And you got a child. So now how can you come back later on and try to say, hey, you're gonna present yourself as having a certain level of class? And that's one thing I can say. Corey doesn't really present himself that way.
Right. I get
Corey's
it's
kind of
hard
like,
for,
hey, I'm out here in the streets. This is what I am. I'm this.
It's hard for a man to fall when he's already in the gutter.
Right.
On the other hand, you got Anton, who's a married man. I'm a Christian. I'm a millionaire.
Right.
I get what you're saying, and that's why the thing is, they say that the higher you are, the harder you have to fall.
Yeah. But
which
overall,
is why,
I mean, you hit it on the head, Dennis. I mean, you hit it on the head. There is no overall winner.
No, not at all.
It sucks for both of us. Granted, they're influencers, right? Corey is a comedian. And I guess Anton does a lot of things in his community, whatever business-wise. But overall, to me, it's just another example of how we've all been indoctrinated with white supremacy, and a lot of us don't even know it. I've traveled the world, and I got to tell you, one thing I've learned about coming back to the States, and you probably can relate to this, America is anti-Black men, at least heterosexual. And it's now like a post-marital society, but that's a different topic for a different day. But America's anti-black men, and it's in all of us, right? And we can never fix it because we don't even know that we're white supremacists, but it's a bunch of ways you can identify it. And Corey and Anton, it was on full display, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. It's not a good look for brothers overall, man. Thank you so much, Brother Kenneth, man. Very well spoken, very articulate. Thank you so much. And I appreciate
Keep doing the good work, Dennis.
Yes, sir. I will, man. All right. All the brothers, man. Look, I'm gonna leave the link up for a minute if anybody wants to come in. Again, my whole point is this. This is, you heard the brothers speak. The brothers, it's not just me saying this. And again, I understand the back and forth. I understand how the situation escalated to what it was. But when I look at these two men, you got one man who's a giant in black YouTube in general, I would say, because Brother Anton Daniels has 1 million followers, and Corey Holcomb, a longtime comedian and mainstay in black comedy. When you get these two men who come together, and you would think you would have a fair exchange of ideas, a peaceful exchange of ideas, and they resort to name calling and nearly coming to blows, it's not a good look for black men in general, and specifically foundational black men, black American men. Here, you're going to have those folk who are African immigrants, those people who are from the Caribbean saying, see, Dennis, you spend all this time defending black American men, saying they don't do the things that we just saw the best that you have do. And when I talk about Anton Daniels, his takedown of Dr. Boyce Watkins was epic. This man is a brilliant young black man. He's a married man. He's been married to the same woman for decades. He has a child who he takes care of. I like Anton Daniels for that alone. In my opinion, for that alone, I would listen to what that brother had to say. As far as Corey Holcomb, he seems like a very real and authentic brother. And I don't know a lot about him. I do know his comedy from back in the day. He's in the entertainment field, and I appreciate some of the things he's said. He's had some very viral moments. And when I do hear him on my For You page, I appreciate some of the thought-provoking statements that he makes. Okay. Now, again, there are people who like these gentlemen. There's people who don't like these gentlemen. And when they come together, we want to see an exchange of ideas, and we don't want to see a result to name calling and niggardly behavior and threats. We don't want to see that. Now, again, as I said before, seemed to me like it was all pretty much performative. See, if they really wanted to get down, they wanted to get down. Okay, if you're gonna fight, you're gonna fight. But again, hopefully they realize that, at the age that they are, and I believe both of these gentlemen are over the age of 40 years old, you need to be worried about your high blood pressure medicine. Okay, Corey, Anton, y'all need to be worrying about your CPAP machines. You need to be worrying about your pre-diabetes checkups. You need to be going every 3 months. Okay, that's what you need to be focused on. You need to make sure you're getting a little yoga in. Okay, you need to make sure you're walking sideways down those steps, because you might have that trick knee. You don't want that knee to go out. This is what you need to be working on at your age. You need to be focusing on elevating our people, not boxing each other in the street. Okay, that's in other words, fellas, this is a time in which you got to grow up. Now I get it. Again, as I told you guys before, and you guys know this, I am a staunch believer in self-defense. I practice self-defense, whether we're talking about 2A style self-defense or whether we're talking about hand-to-hand combat, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, Kaju Kimbo, karate. My wife has a brown belt in karate, Shotokan karate, the military style of karate. And she's a sweet woman. My children have multiple degrees, black belts in different forms. I have a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, which means pretty much every day I'm either choking somebody or getting choked or trying to snap somebody's arm or out of place or twist their knee off or something like that. And so I definitely believe in self-defense. When I say self-defense, there's a difference between attacking someone and entering into a physical battle because somebody, said something you don't like. If you're able to walk away from something, you should do so. And if you're able to not escalate a situation, you should do so. And if someone says something that you find highly offensive and there's a way in which you can walk away, you should. I'm just saying, generally speaking, brothers, we don't need to be entering into physical battles we need you for other things. And here's the thing. Let's give Anton a little grace. Anton is only 43. He's a young man. Okay, he's a young man, but he has a very powerful voice. And what I'm trying to explain to you guys is if we give this young man grace, right? Some of y'all say, hey, that goddamn young Uncle D. If we get his brother grace, maybe at some point in the near future, he will begin to change his way of thinking and seeing things. Right now, this man is barely out of his 30s. You see what I'm saying? The fame he's receiving is new to him. You see what I mean? And this might probably the first time in his life he's been this popular. You understand? Same thing with Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb went from being an entertainer. You see what I'm saying? He went from being an entertainer to being someone he went from being someone who people laugh at, right? To being someone people listen to. So at this point, he's finally getting the respect he feels he deserves. Maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll grow. You see what I'm saying? But if you begin to beat people up and take people out and undermine people's and destroy people's lives because of something they said, guess what? They never had an opportunity to grow, man. I want you all to understand that. You see? I want you all to understand that people change, people grow, people's perspective change. All it typically takes is one incident. Let me tell y'all something before I ease on up out of here. Okay? In 2014, I was living pretty high on the hog. I was 40 years old. That was the year I think I made that turn. And when I say turn, I went from, averaging a couple of $100,000 a year, so on and so forth. And it was around about 2014 that for the most part, I escalated into the 7-figure range. And I've never looked back. And I was feeling good. I had all the cars I wanted. I was living the life I wanted. I was living luxury. And of course, when you get to that high height, you start thinking stuff like, oh yeah, I made it. I'm a special Negro. You see what I'm saying? And I truly feel like the ancestors said, no, we're going to bring you back down to where we need you to be so you can understand the plight of all the brothers just like you. So, and things happen. I left my office on a Friday night and I was working on getting some money out the ATM machine. And all of a sudden the police pulled up behind me. And before I knew it, I was sitting on the steps of my law office with handcuffs behind my back. And it was a very humbling experience. And at that time, I was armed. I had my pistol on me. They took my pistol. They checked it. They asked me some questions. Come to find out, I wasn't the person they were looking for. But, the bottom line is, shout out to Liddell Jefferson. Bottom line, they saw a black man. And I looked like the usual suspect. And it reminded me of my upbringing in Los Angeles. We're all perceived as the same. It was a humbling experience. Now, I took the steps. I was very cooperative with the police officers. Nothing came of it. They even gave me my firearm back. I did sue them the following business day. But what I'm trying to explain to you all is it only takes one incident to remind you that, hey, you know what? You're still in this too. You see, you're still a black man too. You see what I'm saying? You're still, just because you have money, just because you have education. And in my situation at that time, just because your name, Attorney Sperling, is on the window of or door of this building, you still can be manhandled by the police because you're still a suspect. Antoine perhaps needs that sort of wake-up call. And then he'll begin to change. And it typically comes with life. You understand what I'm saying? It typically comes with life. All right. So just let the brother keep living. Give him a little grace. I've never spoken to Anton. I like the brother's what he says. I appreciate it. I think he has a voice that could be helpful in the future. Here's the thing I'm looking at. The brother has a black wife, one black wife that he's been married to. The brother has a black daughter. All right. The brother's a black man. You see what I'm saying? So I can appreciate him. I'm going to give him some grace. I have to assume that the things he says is from the heart and he means them. I have to assume that. Because if he didn't like black people like many of you all are saying, he wouldn't be married to a black woman and he wouldn't have a black daughter who he speaks of often and all the time. That's all I'm saying, brothers. I judge people by their actions, not necessarily because of their words, because as I said before, this is the entertainment business. These dudes do this stuff for entertainment, largely. Okay? And typically, the more entertaining you are, the more people to watch. Now, as far as Corey Holcomb is not some huge comedian. Yeah, he's big, he has a name, but who of you all have ever named the 3 movies that he was in? Name the 3 movies he was in. Name the last time he had a comedy tour. Most of you all know Corey Holcomb because of his YouTube page. You understand what I'm saying? You know Corey Holcomb because of the popularity he's gained because of the things that he says on YouTube. So in this regard, you're looking at a black man who went from being maybe not having all the opportunities that other folk have. He made something happen. He used the comedy to segue into this. And now this man is actually respected by people. He's getting phone calls and accolades from people who would otherwise never have even spoken to him or just considered him something, just an entertainer, a court jester up there to make me laugh. You see? And so what we see from him is he's getting respect. You know, he's getting respect, something we really know how many comedians are known for being that thought-provoking, right? Not so many. We do have a couple. We appreciate some of the brilliant minds that we've had who also conveyed that through comedy. But the bottom line is the man is getting something that is helpful. And maybe he too will continue to change and he appreciates the position he's ascended to. And I hope so. I hope that for both of these young men, both of these brothers, I want to see them continue speaking. But here's my problem. It's not helpful, brothers. It's not helpful at all when having reached or on that path to higher success and more respect that you guys, soil yourselves and your image by resorting to this niggardly behavior, insulting each other. And again, I'm going to say it like this. Anton, brother, if you listen, you were wrong. You shouldn't go on that man's show and insinuate that he's, your use of that euphemism, sucking dick of black people was highly inappropriate. And I would tell you that as man to man, if I was your big brother, I would say, man, you can't say stuff like that to people because you don't know how they're going to respond. And you can end up losing your life or ended up in jail because you said something like that's in violation. You don't do stuff like that. Okay, you can't do that. Now that's not something that I should have to tell another grown man. You should know that, right? And I would speak to him in a very loving and respectful fashion to say that's how shit gets started. Shout out to Seti Jakarta. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Now, as far as Corey Holcomb, like, brother, you invite all these people on the internet, they have divergent beliefs and perspectives. They're going to say crazy stuff. You can't just get in somebody's face. You're a comedian. You're supposed to say something funny, right? You can't be you can't be a comedian. I'm a comedian, Corey Holcomb, and then somebody tell you, well, you've been sucking the dick of black, but you don't have a snappy comeback. You don't understand crowd work. You can't check one dude. You got the microphone. Was there another way to handle that? So both of you gentlemen could have handled it differently because, see, at the end of the day, you make all of us look bad. See, when they see you and they see Anton fighting each other and threatening each other on the goddamn internet, talking about let's take it outside, the next time or when he gets a badge and a gun and he says, yeah, there's a couple of them right there. Even their people who they look up to, Anton Daniels and Corey Holcomb, people who they look up to, they act niggardly too. They're violent too. Look how quick they are to resort to violence. See? And so that hurts our reputation in general as men. And these same young people, especially these white kids, they grow up to be politicians and school teachers and professionals. They look up to you and they say, well, damn, some of my favorite role models are still low-class black people. They never grow out of it. You see? And so that's the problem that I have. So you guys got to learn to chill, man. You got to comport yourself in the way that a dignified black man should comport themselves. You understand? You should. You should comport yourself in a way that is befitting of your age and your status. You see? That's what I'm saying. I'm not worried about what white folk do. I'm not worried about what Mexicans and Latinos from Venezuela and Asians from Japan and China. I'm not worried about what Middle Easterns do, whether it's Saudi Arabia. I'm worried about foundational black Americans. That's who I'm worried about, because that's us. We're doing a great job at delineating. We're doing a wonderful job at saying, hey, that's not us. We're over here. Those aren't our problems. And as far as I know, this is our problem, because Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels are both foundational black Americans. So we got to deal with it. But either way, man, I appreciate everybody for coming through. If you guys will please subscribe to this channel. You see how I've spent all this money on these blue and red candles because I'm trying to have peace. Okay. All right. And I need you all to make sure that you give me the peace that I need. And that is a piece of your time by going and clicking the button that says subscribe to the channel. And go ahead and do that. Help me get to 100,000. All right. Help me get to 100,000. So this voice that I have can be have a higher reach, a greater reach. Also, make sure you like the channel. And if you haven't already, hit the like button. I'm sure you all like this. Hit the like button. I appreciate it. I've had a great time. Now, I got to get back to work because, you know, Uncle D has a day job. And if you want to talk to me because you had a car accident, not fight me. I don't want to fight nobody. But if you've had a car accident, give me a call at 713-229-0770. I'll be more than happy to entertain your conversations surrounding your injuries and so on and so forth. But again, I haven't been here in the middle of the day, but I felt it was important to really go ahead and address this. I appreciate everybody. I thank you all for your time and your patience. I want to thank all the guests who came through. We'll do this from time to time. I really miss talking and interacting with black men. And as you guys see, I pretty much said everything they said. That because I have my pulse on the hearts and minds of the typical foundational black American man, which is why I'm good at being an advocate. But generally speaking, brothers, you know, we got to do a little bit better. We gotta throw away these false notions of respect. We got to learn when to walk away because we have too much to lose. And the spotlight is on us, man. The spotlight is on us. We've delineated. So let's begin to set an example. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. And as always said this time, I'm out.
Dennis Burley Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.